And I just found out that everything was muted there, so I apologize. Welcome to the stream, guys, if you're watching. My name is Jonathan Weinberger. I am the authorized Unity instructor for the Ultimate Guide to Game Development series with Unity, created in partnership with them. And this is the game you create in Course 3. So today we're kind of picking up where we left off yesterday, and we're going to finish up our moving platform system, which is a custom editor tool for OW. And then we're also going to get into adding some level management and some customizations if we have time. So to show you guys some new things that OW has added here, we have our main menu here, and when we hit Start, it's going to go ahead and fade into our level system here. And the way this is going to work is you're going to be able to travel between levels, and you'll be able to scroll this map out as well. Within this level, when you select, for instance, the pit, it's going to open up a scroll, and you'll be able to actually start that level. So we're going to need to create some sort of dynamic system for this. We can also go back to the main menu and start our game. So later in the day, we're going to go ahead and live create that system. So as of right now, though, let's go ahead and hop into our game scene, and I'll show you guys what we did last night for if you weren't tuning in there. How's it going, Chi-Trang? Give me 1 second, guys. Let me just open up the Restream chat here, make sure all that stuff is good. Thanks to educate us. Your videos are always helpful. Very helpful. Thank you. How's it going, Zach? All right, so give me 1 second here, guys. Let me just update this chat system just so it notifies me. So here we have Streamlabs, Restream. Okay, cool. All right, good deal. So that chat is now working, so anything you guys say should come through here. All right, and thanks, Mohammed, for subscribing. All right, so check this out. Here's our current game here. So I'm going to go ahead and just lower my desktop audio so it's not too loud for you guys. But we're going to go ahead and play this and show you guys what we currently have working. All right, and if you're interested in making a game like this or learning how to do this, you can check the description for a link to the course. Alright, here's our checkpoint. We'll go ahead and die here. Alright, so we can continue with an ad or restart from the beginning. Alright, so what we created yesterday was this moving platform system. So if we zoom in on this moving platform, we created a system where OW can dynamically add moving platforms using this custom editor that we created. So in here, we have, go ahead and full screen this. So in here, we have our moving platform. And as I add waypoints, you'll see here that it automatically positions them out, and it creates those waypoints in our scene view or in our hierarchy here. And then we can also modify the spacing of our platform, and we can choose the speed, and we can also remove points. So once we have our waypoints set up, you can actually select them, and you can go ahead and modify them. And we created a custom gizmo that allows you to basically modify them in real time. All right, and see their connection points. And if we run this, you'll see here that the current functionality is that the platform is going to just move to these positions. All right, we're going to increase the speed here. All right, and then it's going to go in reverse. So one of the things that I want to do with this, and let me know if the game audio is too loud over the voiceover, but what we want to do now is we need to add some other debug values. So I want OW to be able to, in real time, reverse this. So we have a bool here that you can just click reverse, and it will allow him to have it reverse at any time. And then also let's add a delay functionality so that each point it's going to have a delay that OW can specify in the inspector. Alrighty, so let's see here. Zach said also the link you posted in Discord wasn't the correct one. I posted the right one under May. Want to edit your post though. Oh, awesome! Thanks for doing that. Did not realize I did that. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Give me 1 second, guys. Interesting. Okay. So to add some customization to this, Al wants to be able to basically add in like a platform delay, so like a stopping delay, right? So delay at each platform, so an idle sequence. So let's go ahead and create a variable for him to be able to do that. So inside of our moving platform here, let's open that script up. And then we also need to create the functionality for our player to actually be able to step on that platform. All right, so inside of here, let me see. All right, so inside of here, we're gonna add a new property basically. So here we're gonna do everything we just did here. So here we're gonna have a private, this is gonna be a private float idle sequence. And let's call this just like idle delay or sit delay. Call this idle delay. All right, and then we do want to add serialized field and hide inspector to these values so that we can see, so that we can actually save their values from our custom inspector. So here's our idle delay, and then now we need to create a property for that. So very similar to our platform speed, we're going to do the same thing. Come down here at the bottom. We're going to add a new one. So here's our, this is our idle delay. And it's going to return the idle delay. And then we're going to set the idle delay. All right, we'll save that, hop into our custom editor. And inside here, we have our platform speed, our spacing, and let's go ahead and add another one. So we're gonna add mp.idleDelay. It's going to equal an editor GUI layout, and we're gonna add another float field. From here, this is going to be idle delay, and then the value that we're gonna be assigning it to. And we can say mp.idleDelay. All right, so let's save this. And if we check out our inspector here, we've now added our idle delay. All right, so here, once it compiles. All right, so here we have our idle delay. So Al, we can go ahead and set that to, we can say, so if he wants it to just have current movement with no delay, he can keep it at 0, or he could simply add a 1 second delay to each waypoint. Now we actually have to make that work though. So inside of our moving platform script here, we need to actually incorporate this idle delay now. So to actually do that, when should we idle? We should idle if basically if our platform.position equals the current waypoint. So this is when we decide if we should continue or go to the next point. So at this moment in time, we say current waypoint equals get current waypoint. And what we want to do here is just check. When we get a current waypoint, what do we want to do? We want to basically say, hey, are you in idle, right? So what we can do here is let's create a variable that says in idle. So here we have private bool, we'll say in idle, is going to be set to false. All right, and what we want to do now is when we call this function, that means that we're at our next point. So we want to say in idle equals true. And then here we need to actually check though if there's a time for it. So here we're going to say, so here we're actually going to say like if, so if our time for this, so if our idle delay is equal to 0, that means that we shouldn't do anything. And we're just going to say in idle is equal to false. And then we're just going to continue on as normal. However, if there is a delay, if Al wants the platforms to wait a second, then we need to hold up the program right here. So we need to actually have this functionality stop. All right, and let's just see here what our code is actually doing here. So here we say current waypoint equals get current waypoint, and current waypoint is just an int value. So here, basically, we want to say if idle equals 0. Now, this is going to require us to return something. So this method of doing this actually might not be the best. We actually might not want to add any of this logic here because it's not a void method. It's going to require us to return an int, and we don't want to have to, we don't want to return something incorrect. Although we could actually just return the current waypoint value, and it would actually just stay at its current position until we told it to update. So actually that might work. So let me add that code back. So here, if our idle delay is set to 0, then inIdle is false, and we're just going to continue on with our program. Else we're going to say that, else we're going to basically return, our current waypoint. So here we're going to say return current waypoint. It didn't have a chance to increment, so it's going to return the current waypoint that you're already at. Now here's the problem. It's going to do this indefinitely. So what we need to do is we need to actually modify this to eventually stop. So we have if idle delay is 0, we have inIdle equals false, else return current waypoint. And this actually needs to be, here we're going to say bool inIdle. Because remember, this only gets called when you're actually at the next waypoint. So we're going to set inIdle equals to true. If there's no delay, then inIdle equals false. But if inIdle equals true and there is a delay, we're going to be here, and we're just going to constantly return this. Now the problem here though is how do we get out of this? Because right now it's always going to be stuck in here. So let's see what we can do here. We have inIdle equals true. So here, if idle delay equals false, inIdle equals false. Otherwise, we're in here and we're returning the current waypoint. So eventually, though, what we need to do is we need to get out of here we need to basically be checking if inIdle equals true. So to do that, we have this check here, which checks if we even have any idle. So here we're going to say if idle delay is 0, we're going to say inIdle is set to false. And then here we need to actually check our idle status. So here, if inIdle, equals true, then what needs to happen? We need to return our current waypoint so that we don't move. All right, and then here we say if inIdle equals true, we're going to return the current waypoint. If inIdle equals false, then we're just going to continue on as normal. So it's only going to equal false if the idle delay is actually 0. But also now we need to actually say, hey, how long is the delay? Like, has a second passed? So here we say if inIdle equals true, and then we need another variable here that's going to be used. So this inIdle here lets us know that we're actually in transition. So let's go ahead and actually do. It's actually going to get a little messy. So let's get it working, and then we'll see if we can optimize it. Essentially, we will need another bool here that can determine if 1 second has actually passed, right? So technically, though, this will be getting called constantly. So we could just use a normal cooldown system, like time.delta time. So let's go ahead and see if we can do that. So here we have a private bool inIdle. So we know if our program is inIdle. And then here, we're going to have a float value that's going to act as our iterator. So here we're going to have a float. Let's go ahead and say, for instance, private float will say next waypoint. All right, and we'll set that just to -1 for now, as like an initialized value. So, and then here we have our delay. So we don't need this anymore. I'm going to remove that. Let's see here. We're basically going to treat this as a cooldown system. So I'm going to remove this, and remove this. And this should work if we actually just do it as a cooldown system as a whole. So here what I'm going to do is when we grab our current waypoint, that means we're at the next position. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just check the current value of time. So if time.time is greater than our next value time, which is going to be our next waypoint. So if time.time is greater than our next waypoint, then what do we need to do? We're going to basically, we're going to return the current waypoint. So for the every time we get in here. So if time.time is greater than next waypoint, and that next point is going to be 1, then what we would do is say next waypoint, let's say here, next waypoint equals, and we would say underscore next waypoint is going to equal time.time plus our delay. So if we're, whatever our idle delay is. So what this is going to do is we're going to hop into this function. We're going to check if it's greater than the next waypoint. And actually, you know, I honestly don't know if even this will work because it's not a coincidence. It could take longer than however long that is to actually get there. Shoot, let's see. What can we do here? Because the problem is that we're returning an int function here, so we might not be able to even use this functionality here. We might have to actually modify this if statement and avoid calling this statement. And maybe that's the best thing to do. So let's go ahead and give that a shot instead of figuring out how to make it work with this int system. So here we have our platform position equals our waypoints, and we'll turn that into a proper if statement. So basically, we only want to call this. We want to basically delay calling this code here, right? That's the goal. Let's add back in here. Let's create a private bool and in idle equals false. And this might work a little bit better. So let's see. We have in idle is false. And inside here, what we can do is we can go ahead and say in idle equals true. And then here, we'll say if in idle, and actually, you know, we're not going to set it here. We're just going to check and see if in idle is equal to true, then we don't want to do anything. We're going to say current waypoint equals current waypoint, and it's just going to be waiting. All right, so in idle equals true, current waypoint equals current waypoint. And then here we have get current waypoint. So if in idle equals true, else we'll go ahead and call this. All right, so that's the simple logic right there. But now the question is, when do we toggle this? And that's where we're going to have to use like a coroutine to basically say, go ahead and wait the delay before turning that back to true. So when we first arrive at our checkpoint here, we basically want to set it to true. So here, if platform.position equals waypoint's current position, and we're going to say, and if it equals that, and in idle is set to false, then we're going to go into idle. So here we're going to say in idle is now true, so that we only call this if statement once. And then we're going to call a coroutine that's going to reset all this stuff. So here, if idle equals true, else current waypoint equals get current waypoint. And let's see here. We might have to create another variable for this, but let's see. So let's go and create another, let's create an enumerator that's going to handle this operation for us. All right, and this is going to be idle delay or idle routine. And here we're going to say yield return new wait for seconds, and it's however many seconds I was going to post in the editor. So here we're going to say yield return new wait for seconds, and we'll pass in our idle delay. All right, so it's going to wait this amount of time, and then it's going to say in idle equals false. All right, so we waited, in idle is now false, and we can now continue with the program. So we need to actually call this coroutine though. So inside of our void start here, if platform position equals waypoints, we want to basically call that function. So here we're going to say, we set in idle equals to true. We call this coroutine idle routine. That's going to set in idle to false And then what's going to happen here is we want to then call this code here. So actually, we can just add this code to our platform, or to that routine actually. So here we have in idle is set to true. We're going to start coroutine. We're going to wait a second. In idle is now false. And before we actually set in idle equals false, let's go ahead and do this. We don't need to do that. We just actually need to call current. So we just want to delay calling this by 1 second or however long Al wants. So here we say current waypoint equals get current waypoint, and it should begin moving. And then we can go ahead and say in idle equals false. And we'll go ahead and add a little bit of a delay here, just to ensure that it's not going to be caught in itself. So you would return new, wait for seconds. And let's add like a 0.25f delay. And then we'll set in idle equals false. That way, that ensures that this if statement in update is only called one time. It's not going to be looping itself. So let's go ahead and test that out. Hey, what's up, Red Bolt? Equals true is not needed. It's not, but it's just a programming standard. All right, so here we go. We have a 1 second idle delay, and there you go. All right, and we can adjust this in real time, so we can have this next one stand for 5 seconds. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. All right, so that's working pretty good. All right, so one thing I also want to add here. So one thing I would like to add here is the ability for Al to be able to actually select one of these points. Now, I don't know currently that he can select these points. I don't think you can. And that's because they're just gizmos. So I want to look up how do we make those actually selectable? Because I would like to be able to select it like I can these things and give it that little anchor here. All right, so let's go ahead and make gizmos selectable in Unity. Let's look up how to do that. Or we want to add a handle is what it's called, I believe. So is it possible to select the game object by selecting the gizmo in the scene view? So this guy has a line using draw line. All right, and thanks, dude, for subscribing. So here this guy has a line similar to what we're doing, and he wants to be able to select the line and have it select object A. That then leads on to my second question to grab a mouse over event from Gizmos. So this guy wants to do, this question is old, so I don't know if I'll be helping anyone. Extending the unit itself, extending the other, you get the idea of how to use handles. So this guy's using a handle. That's exactly what we want. So on scene GUI, here's the handle, which equals target. Selection equals a new game object, selection handle.transform, and then selection object of selection. So put that script in an editor folder for it to work. The following script is rather a marker to objects that should not be selected. Put it outside an editor folder and attach it to an object. Whenever you try to select object C, that is a child object, you will instead select A immediately. You can select object C again using, auto selects parent. So I don't know if I like that approach. Let me see here. Still got other handles. Selectable. And this is for the UI system, not really what we're looking for. Maybe that is, though. How to make gizmos unselectable. On-draw gizmo gizmos. Let's see here. Let's see here what I'm looking for. So here, how to pick on-draw gizmos. So I have an editor extension, creates empty object nodes. I show these in scene view. and correct location. The document states that implements this on draw gizmos if you want to draw gizmos that are also pickable and also drawn. This allows you to quickly pick important objects. Oh, you know what? I think there was something, I believe there is called on draw gizmos selected. Although I think that only draws gizmos that are actually selected. Gizmos are drawn only when the object is selected, so that's not what we want. Is this Unity Pro? Yeah. Whether you have Unity Pro, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing as free today. But yes, I do use a Plus Pro subscription. After much digging around, I think I figured out how this works. Hopefully this should save someone else the pain. It's only available to mono behavior objects, yeah. Containing is up to you to figure out which specific gizmo was picked, but that can't be done inside the onDraw gizmos because you don't have access to the editor functions. So then I needed to first attach a collider to the same object that the onDraw gizmos attach was set to. Check for event current type equals event mouse down, make array for the editor, handle unique waypoint, loop through each gizmo that was drawn, set the collider, call collider.raycast. Wow, so okay, it looks like it's kind of a pain in the ass to add those handles, so we're gonna go ahead and skip that for now. One of the things that we also wanted to do is here we have our platform speed, we have our platform spacing. Al can set an idle delay, and we can add these. We have our idle delay, and then we have our debug property, so Al can see what current waypoint it's at. So what we can do now is let's figure out how we can add a debug option for reversing. And one of the things I want to see here is if it's easy enough to do it like this. Private bool reversing. If I don't hide that in the inspector, I'm curious to see where it gets displayed. All right, so here, let's see here. Let Unity recompile. Okay, so right now, so I have this reversing here, and it's not actually updating, and the reason for that is because our editor script isn't painting it, so that's what I wanted to see. So there's two options we might be able to do here. In our editor here, if I were to type base.onInspectorGUI, that should draw the initial one, so let's see where that is. But I want it to actually draw that potentially after. So maybe I can call the base after my initial code, and let's see how that works. So yeah, so by doing that, we have our reversing here. I want it down by the debugging options. So let me just see here if we can do this, because it's actually a real big pain in the ass to modify bool values through a custom inspector for some reason. So let's see. Oh yeah, for oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm on the beta right now, so I am on actually personal for this. My 2018.1 is pro. Let's see here. Okay, and that actually worked out perfectly. Check that out. So unfortunately, it has this ugly moving platform script, but that's actually not that bad because it's actually a pain in the ass to have to open up the scripts manually. So I like actually being able to do that. So here, just having the reversing, this should allow Al to be able to reverse it in real time. So we have our debugging properties, current waypoint, followed by being able to reverse this. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this just because it's such a pain to be able to actually modify bool values across. So if I hit reverse now, once it gets to its next checkpoint, it should begin reversing. And there we go. And it should go to the beginning. Cool. And then we also want to make sure that it is going to get set to false once we're at the start. And it does. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this custom tool. The next thing we need to do is we need to make it so that when our player jumps on it, it's automatically parented. And when he jumps off, it's automatically deparented. All right, so the only thing Al is going to be responsible for is literally taking the platform here and just swapping out whatever sprite he wants to use for the platform. That's all he's going to have to do. All right, so we're going to go ahead and apply this prefab so that we can update it. Because the goal here is that Al, whenever he wants to add a moving platform in our game, he'll be able to drag the prefab into the scene view And let's go ahead and actually save it without any waypoints. So once he drags it in, all he has to do is add some waypoints, and then he can modify them. Just like this. All right, pretty cool. So let's see here. What do we want to do next? Oh, and actually, you know what? I just thought of something, guys. Hold on. On these moving platforms here with these on-draw gizmos, I thought there was a selection handler you can actually draw. Let me see here. No, I'll have to look into that. I know I've actually created something in the past where you can actually click a node object and drag it around. So it definitely is possible. It is something I do want to look into. So maybe we'll look into that after getting the functionality done. So let's go ahead here and let's go ahead and make it so we can actually jump on this platform. All right, so right now it's on the correct order and layer. So we just need to actually make it so that we can jump on it. So to do that, we have our moving platform. On our platform here, we're going to add two colliders. We're going to add a box collider 2D, which is going to be the collider for the platform so that our player can't fall through it. And then we're going to add another collider for box collider 2D. And this collider is going to be a trigger, and it's going to be above the platform so that we can detect the player and parent him to this object. So here, let's go ahead and grab this second collider. We're going to do the second collider first. So here we have edit transform. We're just going to bring it up, and we're just going to check for a triggered event in here. So once we've done that, we're going to add another box collider, a box collider 2D. And then this collider is automatically mapped around. So here you can see we have this one mapped around, and then we have our trigger one. So once we've done that, we can actually then open up our script here. And let's see here. On that platform is what we want to actually check for collisions. So I'm trying to see here if we have to have this script. Okay. So we're actually not going to add the colliders here. We're going to add them to the parent object. So on here, we're going to add a box collider 2D and another box collider 2D. Although we are going to want it to map to the sprite. So that's annoying. Because I'm pretty sure if I call Ontriggerexit, it's not going to check child objects. Although maybe it will. We'll test it out here. Let me go ahead and undo this and see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll have to remake the colliders again. All right, so here's our two colliders. One of them is trigger. So on this parent object here, we'll add a function inside our moving platform here to check for those collisions. So here we're going to say void Ontriggerexit 2D, and we're going to check for other. All right, and basically what we're doing here is if the other is the player, then we need to parent it to this object. So here, if other.tag equals our player, then we're going to say other.transform.parent is going to equal this.transform. All right, and that's going to parent the object. Let's go ahead and test that out. And that's going to allow us to actually move with the platform. All right, so let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so Red Bolt says it won't, so let's just go ahead and verify that. All right, so yeah, so it's not detecting those collisions. So let's go ahead here. And one thing we want to make sure too, you see how I'm stuck in that pose? The reason why we're stuck in that pose here is because this needs to be layer ground. And we're going to set yes to children. We want the platform and that to be set to ground. So let's go ahead and apply that real quickly. And I'll have to reapply it once we're done too. All right, so we are going to have to go ahead and change those colliders, which kind of sucks, but it's actually not that bad. We can actually adjust the collider to be the bounds of the sprite anyway, if we want to through code, which I think we do. So let's go ahead here, and we're going to remove these colliders and add them to the parent object. Okay, so here, box collider 2D and box collider 2D. So for this first one here, let's go ahead and make it the size, right about there is good. And then we'll just make it the length of the actual platform. Awful. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then for this one, we're gonna go ahead and just make it the size of the platform so that we can stand on it. Okay, cool. All right, so one is going to be as triggered. Let's save this. And then it has a ground layer, so we shouldn't get stuck in that animation. And let's go ahead and test that out. All right, and check it out. Our player is now parented, so I can move around this just fine. And if the platform were to begin moving, which it's not, and I actually don't know why the platform's not moving. Oh, that's because it has no waypoints. You can see here I accidentally corrupted it when I deleted stuff. So if we gave it some waypoints, so let's go ahead and add waypoint here. So we're not moving with it, so that's a problem. So we actually need to, shoot, that's actually a really big problem. So we have an issue here where we actually might need to have two scripts. We actually need to parent our player. One, we need to parent our player to this platform here. However, I am worried that we will fall through it because the platform is on this actual object, and this object here isn't actually moving. It's that platform that's moving. So what we need to do is we're gonna have a platform detector script, and that's how we're gonna create this. That way we don't have to worry about having it all in one script, and then it will communicate with the moving platform or the parent. So within here, we're gonna remove these two. Let's go ahead and remove these waypoints. We'll have to recreate those waypoints. All right, so here on our platform, once again, we're gonna do the same setup with two box collider 2Ds. And we're gonna modify the first one and bring it up a bit to detect our on trigger. And then here we need to actually create a new script. So we have our moving platform script. And then here we're gonna create a C# script called platform detector. Platform detection. All right, and this is just gonna handle the parenting of the platform. So within that, we have our platform detection. We'll attach that script. And this way our player will actually move with it. Platform detection, let's open that up. All right, and we're basically gonna take the code from our moving platform and just apply it. Save that. And let's put it in our new script. All right, and that should work. All right, and while we're here, let's go ahead and have the ability to unparent us. So we're gonna say void Ontriggerexit. All right, and the same logic here is, it's just the reverse of this. So here, if other.transform.parent, we're going to say equals null. So we're gonna unparent it. And this needs to be 2D. All right, let's save this and test it out. All right, so let's go ahead here. We have that set up. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and move this platform closer to us. All right, and then for the moving platform here, we'll give it some waypoints. And it's actually not showing our waypoints anymore. Why is that? Gizmos is on. Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on. I totally broke that. Give me a sec. I moved this guy. Let me delete that platform and add a new one. So here's our moving platforms. All right, we have our platform here. Let me make sure we can add a waypoint. Okay, good deal. So there's our waypoints. And then on this actual platform, it needs to have our box collider 2Ds. One's going to be is trigger and risen a bit. Okay, let's save it and test it out. So here is our path. Go ahead and set it there. All right, we should see that it parents us and unparents us. So we should be able to move along with it. So this thing here says waypoints is 0. Not really sure what we broke here. So one sec, it's not working. If we look at our platform here, something is not letting me add these waypoints. Moving platform. Oh, shoot. You know what it is, guys? I think it's because I am painting over these values. So check it out. So when I start this, waypoints is going to become 0. And it's because of how I'm doing this reversing feature. I'm basically drawing the initial, and great, Unity just crashed. It's because I'm drawing the initial one. So let's reopen Unity and test that out. So that means that we can only check that reverse bool from our actual custom editor, which kind of sucks. So let's go ahead and reopen that. Let's see here. All right, so we are going to have to look into how to, we're going to figure out how to modify bool values with a custom inspector. All right, so let's go ahead here and let's hop back into our scene. Okay, and we have our moving platform. I'm going to remove this one. We're going to add a new one right here next to our plier. So inside our SDK, moving platform, let's just add it right here. All right, so right now, if I add waypoints, everything is fine. But it is going to become 0. And the reason for that is because I am painting the old inspector. And that's causing some problems. And yeah, okay. So what we need to actually do is I need to remove from the custom inspector that we have, I need to remove that. Well, which really kind of sucks. Let's see here. So inside our custom code here, I can't be calling the base. That's overriding it. If I wanted to, I could call it at the front, but then I can't position where that is. So I don't want to do that. So this here should fix our platform. If we run this, and if we look at our platform now, so we can't reverse, but everything else should be okay. So we're going to go ahead and remove these guys. All right, add waypoints and everything should be fine. Like it should work as normal. So let's go ahead and re-add back our box colliders. In fact, it's like the 10th time I've done that. Let's go ahead and increment it. Alrighty. Make sure their layer is set to ground, which it is, and test it out. So why is that getting set to 0? Well, we definitely broke something there. Let's see. What did we break on that? Waypoints is getting set to 0. We're not painting over it. In our code here, what are we checking for? We're doing this if platform.position equals waypoints current and in idle is false, in idle equals true, start coroutine, idle routine. And then it should just automatically call this platform move towards. So is it just like a set delay? So it's a 0. Yeah, that platform is just not moving. Why? These waypoints are just getting cleared out. So it says 0. So I'm not sure what actually broke there. Interesting. Let's see. Let's re-add that. We have our idle delay. We can add a waypoint, 2 waypoints. We're gonna have to add some logs to this. See what's going on. Oh, you know what? Here, hold on. Let me hide this again in Inspector. I think some of the values are not being read properly. I'm trying to figure out why. So here, in our editor script, make sure that did save. Make sure we're not calling the base in here. And we are not. We have these values here. And then inside our platform script, let's go ahead and debug what's happening here. So inside void update, if waypoints is null, let's see here. Here's our movement code. So movement is never actually getting called because our waypoints aren't getting populated. So the question is, why isn't our waypoints getting populated? And we do initialize that list right here. So I wonder if we actually have to reset this script. Let's see here. Let's reset it. Platform spacing, set that to 5. Our idle delay is 1. We'll add 2 waypoints. And for some reason, waypoints is getting set to 0. That is strange. Here's our waypoints. We add new waypoints. Here, you know what? I think there's like, let me try something here. I feel like there's some weird cache issue. I'm gonna close Unity. I'm going to go to my app data. So anytime you get some weird inspector issues like this, where you know things should be functioning, but they're not, it's always a good idea to probably clear some cache. So inside our void start here, or inside of Windows start, you can type in app data. And I think it needs to be capital. So you do %app data, and that opens up a folder that looks like this. And basically you can just find your Unity folder in here, and you can just delete it. So, and you might want to go into local roaming as well. So if you go into app data, you can go to local, go into Unity, you can just delete these folders. They get regenerated every time you open Unity. All right, we'll go into local and do the same thing. Just get rid of them. All right, go ahead and give it some time to do its thing. Because this was working literally 5 minutes ago. All right, so when you do that, it is going to require that you log back into Unity. So let me go ahead and do that real quickly. All right. So here you'll put in your stuff. Dungeon escape. So I think when I painted the initial GUI over it, that really messed things up. So I definitely don't want to do that. All right, let's see. Unity's just loading up right now. Give that a few more seconds. Alrighty. So with this opened here, let's select our moving platform once it's finished, and then we're going to go ahead and test it out again before we add some more logs, just to see what's going on. Alright, so here's our moving platform. We have some waypoints in here. Let's delete those. We'll add a waypoint. Alright, let's set this to 1 delay and run this. All right, and it still does not want to work. Very annoying. I don't believe there's anything on here that is preventing it, but for some reason waypoints 0 is getting called. So what we can do now is, because I'm pretty sure me painting over the original one really screwed it up. Let's go ahead and just add here based on inspector GUI to the beginning, so that it draws the initial, and then I also extend this. And then I don't know why it's not liking that. Something is super messed up. Let's see here, Ontriggerexit 2D. And let's do other. Let's just add this code back. All right, that's gonna be null. All right, so let it compile. I'm gonna have it display the initial one just so it can read it, and then we'll override it again. All right, so interesting. That actually didn't update. So this moving platform script, or the moving platform editor. Okay, yeah, it did. All right, good deal. So now we have that. Platform properties. All right, so let's go ahead here, try this. So right now there's no waypoints. If we add 3 waypoints, and it's still getting set to 0. Wow, something definitely got like super messed up with that. I don't think we added anything that would be clearing that list. Here's where we add waypoints, remove waypoints. We have our on-draw Gizmo stuff. Here's our idle routine. That list is just getting destroyed. So hold on, let's check this out. Let's go ahead and watch it get populated in the actual inspector. So it's going to get displayed up here. All right, so as I add a waypoint, so check that out. That list is getting populated. And when I run it, something is clearing it out. So what we can do, yeah, so it's getting set to 0. So here, custom editor settings, or custom editor resetting to 0. They reset on play. It's exactly what's happening. Let's see. So it says, all right, so this is what we had last night. So your fields are not marked with serialized fields. So everything is a serialized field. So there's no way to save changes to them between domain reloads. A proper way to do this is through properties, these property types. But let's see here. Because we are indeed using a serialized field. But it looks like this is the more proper way to do it and handle it. You can see here they're doing serialized objects that find property. They're finding these property types. So let's see here. Property resets after starting play mode. Here is last render. That's his target. And then default draw inspector. Let's see, my laser hand type equals emitter. Let's see here. Yeah, he's not doing anything with float values. Oh yeah, he is here. Filter red. Here, we might use that actually for our bool thing too to figure out. But let's see here. You're not dirting in the serialized data on the target laser handle object. There are a number of ways to approach this, but in general, the best option for setting properties inside of OnInspector GUI is to use serialized property instead of directly accessing fields on the target object, which is exactly what we're doing. We are accessing fields directly. But I should be able to, because I am using serialized field, and that's these guys here. These attributes are what allow us to actually do that. So let me remove the script and add it, and see if it can reset itself. So on this moving platform here, let's see. Here's a moving platform script. Let's remove that, and we're going to add a moving platform. All right, let's add some nodes here, and we can watch them update. We'll add some spacing. All right, and there we go. So it just had to be reset. So that's a really annoying issue. But it does seem to be working fine now. So, all right, so our waypoint system is working, and I should be able to, let's go ahead and hide those values again in the inspector. So here we're going to have hide inspector. All right, and then on our actual platform, let's go ahead and add our platform detector script back. And I'm going to remove our current waypoints. So here we're going to remove these. Let's apply this change. On this platform here, we're going to have our box collider 2D as well as our script. So let's have our platform detector. We're going to add our box collider, and we're going to add 2 of them. All right, on this one here, let's go ahead and raise it up a bit and make it is trigger. Okay, and looking at our script, everything should just work. So let's go ahead here and run this. All right, and I forgot to add platform points. So we're going to add a delay of 2 seconds, and then we're going to add 2 waypoints. All right, let's save this. And now it doesn't want to work. Why? Are you kidding me? Interesting. I wonder if it had something to do with all of this stuff on it. Well, how does that make any sense? Let's see here. Add a waypoint. Let's run it. Wow, something super bugged is here. So once again, that's getting reset. I wonder if it's these colliders. Why wouldn't I be able to add those? Let's go ahead and remove these. Remove the platform detection script. Let's remove those points. We'll add 2 waypoints, or add 3 waypoints. Let's run it. Wow, and it's like stopped working all of a sudden. Why? What is going on? Let's see here. One. It's being super unreliable. Okay, now it's moving. I do not get that. Also, what's really interesting here, okay, it duplicated some waypoints. I think that was from me. So on our moving platform here, we have 3 waypoints added. Let me remove those. Oh, okay, you know what? That script is corrupted. Hold on. I need to make a fix for that to where if I accidentally remove them here, then it also removes them from the list. So let's go ahead here. We'll add 3 waypoints. Idle delay is 1. We'll set the spacing to 5. Let's remove these, re-add them back. Let's run this. Okay. Seems to be stable. And if I add my box collider 2D, and if I had 2 of them, let's go ahead and increase one of the ranges. Let's run this. All right, still works. So I don't know what was up with that. That was really strange. Here is our platform detection. Let's run it again, make sure it still works. All right, so everything seems to be okay now. So we'll wait for that to come back, and then we'll go ahead and jump on it, and everything should work. So there could just be some handling issues on how this tool works. So we need to make it so that if you delete them without using the button, that breaks or that doesn't break. So we'll fix that after this. All right, so here it comes. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and hop on it. All right, and we are now moving with it. And wow, you can see how distorted I get. Jeez, why is that? So that made me a parent of that sprite. That's why, and it's inheriting its scale. So this would actually only be 1 by 1 in a actual traditional setting. And there you can see our player is proper. So let's go ahead and actually fix that. And really what we want, we don't want to inherit any of these scale values from there. So this is just so we can actually visually see it. But in an actual setting, when Al puts in the asset, the scale of this will be a 1 by 1. So if we actually change that, and then we would modify just the platform here. So this guy would be like a 5 on the X, or for instance, a 10 on the X. Let's do 20. So then when we get parented to this, we're proportionate, hopefully. So let's try that again. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on it. All right. Wait for that to come back. Oh, it's making its way all the way down there. Oh my god, absolutely not. Hang on. Let's increase the speed on that guy. How many waypoints is there? There's only 4. So, alright, it's at current waypoint. It says 1. Okay, 2. Oh, it's because it's much smaller now. Alright, current waypoint is set to 2. Current waypoint is 3. Alright, here it comes. All right, so I'm gonna have it wait. Here we go. We'll hop on it and set the speed to 1. All right, so there we are. All right, and you can see here we can, so now when I move though, I am getting distorted. I'm actually not sure why that keeps happening. We definitely should not be getting distorted. That is really interesting. I've never actually seen that before. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I've ever made a moving platformer in a 2D strict setting. Usually it's been like in a 2.5D or 3D setting. So let's take a look at this. Why is that happening? Like our player's scale is just so distorted, and that's because it's trying to give it the properties of the parent here, which is 20 on the X. Why? You know, because now it's normal, but now I can't walk on it. That is interesting. So right now on this platform, if I pause this, the collider on this platform is only the size of that. So, and here's my sprite. So, and then on our player here, we have a sprite. Huh. We need to isolate its child properties. Definitely should not be doing that to us. Let's see. Because if I want this guy, if I want this platform, let me go ahead and just unparent me for a sec. Also, if I jump off, I should be unparented, which I am. And control goes back to me. So, but I want to run this again, and we need to figure out how do we make it so that we aren't just inheriting those properties. We need to basically tell it to ignore the parent sizing. So let's see here. We'll pause it. And then let's also make this much shorter. Let's go and remove 2 of these. All right. All right, so on this moving platform, the scale is set to 1:1, right? But in a real world setting here, or this guy is set to like 20. So really though, we want this platform to become whatever it is. So let me see here what happens if we do this. Let's move it out. And for this guy, let's go ahead and make it like a 10 by 10 platform, maybe a 15. All right, so that's a good looking platform there. Let's go ahead and put this now inside of this moving platform. All right, position is 0, 0, 0. Waypoint 1 is going to be here. Now, I will inherit that scale value of 15, but I want it to ignore that. So here, we might actually be able to just do it from here. Moving platform, although, shoot, it's gonna have to be on our player. We'd have to create something that says, as long as you're on a platform, constantly just set our scale X to a 1. But I don't think that's the best way to do that. So let's go ahead and test this out. Let's run this again. And we'll hop on board. Okay. All right, we move fine. And if I jump off, I'm unparented. So that is fine. So the issue is literally just moving on this thing. We don't want to we want to ignore the scale. So you can see here, it basically took my player and adjusted me based on that platform. Let's see here. Let's ignore parent scale. Make a child always have its own scale. Is there a way to code for a child object to retain its original scale no matter what the scale skew of the parent is? I don't know how to go about setting a specific scale for the object. I typically would recommend, if you do not have too many children to handle, that you write a simple update script that just follows the parent plus a designated offset so that it ignores rotation and scale together, instead of parenting inside the hierarchy. It adds more updates, but in the end, it's just easy. So that is one thing we could do. But transform.local scale equals transform.local scale. An update works like a charm. Maybe. Let's go ahead and see here. Let's try this. If it is that easy, I'm actually okay with just adding this to update, and we'll see if we can figure out. We'll make it so that we only actually do it if we're on that platform. But let's also just see if that actually fixes it. Very curious. But then I want to see what the best solution is. You can use this function wherever you are scaling the parent. It goes through the children and unparents them and then reparents them after scaling. Oh, here. All right, that's also an option. Let's just do it one time, right? Let's see here. Transform children equals new list. For each child, we unparent it, scale it, and do that. So we'll maybe do that, but let's just see how this works. Everyone says that this like works and they're freaking out about it. So we can run this in the Profire too and see how badly this affects anything. All right, so just having that code and update, everything is still fine. That's for the diamonds. Yeah, we'll fix those later. All right, let's go ahead and hop on this. Everything is still good. And if I move, everything is not good. So that code is not doing shit for us. So let's see here. When I move, I'm getting distorted. I'm equaling whatever that size is. Why? Huh, let's try this. Transform.local scale. Just out of curiosity, let's try this. Equals new vector 3. Let's try 1, 1, 1. Just always keep the player at 1. Underscores are so I can see what variables are private and what variables are public, so that when I look at it, I know it's private. It's just a .NET standard. All right, let's go ahead and jump on this. And yeah, that really messes it up. So that new vector 3, so hold on. So this is doing local scale. Huh. Let's do transform.local scale equals, let's try this. Transform.local scale is going to equal, let's try, let's see. Oh, here, you know what? I was suggesting something interesting. So let's see here. Instead of combining the sprite and platform 2D rigid body, hide the sprite and make it a child. Then increase your collider and then make the child sprite the same size. Okay, that actually might work. Yeah, let's try that. So let's remove this and we'll give that a try. So in here, we have our moving platform. And here's our platform. So I was suggesting that we hide it. So let's see here. So for this guy, we remove this sprite. So Al, are you suggesting we actually remove the sprite? But then you would actually need a sprite object, which I guess you could actually put in here as a child. You could have a, this could be platform sprite for you. And we can position this inside. So if we put that inside here. Oh, hold on. Let's remove that. Inside here, let's create a new sprite. 2D object sprite. This could be the platform sprite. Oh, and you know, I think that might actually work. Yeah, that's so smart. Good job. All right, so check this out. So here we have our platform sprites. And for this guy, this sprite can be whatever Al is going to use as the platform. So we'll just set it to something that we have. Probably just use that default one again. All right, so this is going to be that sprite. And we'll go ahead and set the order and layer to 50 so we can see it. And then we hide the sprite here, and here's the platform sprite. This moving platform is going to be 1. All right, and here's our platform sprite. So for this guy can be whatever it is. This guy could be the length of the platform. The collider here, Al can then map the colliders to that platform. So like this. And we'll edit this one as well. So we can stand on that platform. And then now I can still parent myself to this without affecting our scale. And I believe that should work. Oh, good job. All right, so let's go ahead and run it. So now we have this parent object. Al can modify the sprites here, and then we'll go ahead and get parented. So once it comes back to us, we'll go ahead and step on that. All right, we'll jump on it. And success. Good job, Al. Check that out. All right. And we can hop off this at any time. So as you can see here, we are parented to it right now. But if I hop off, we're no longer parented. All right, so we now have a functioning platform system. All right, so I'm happy with that. So let's go ahead here and let's clean this up to make it more modular or user-friendly for him. So we're gonna go ahead and remove these waypoints. Remove waypoints, I'm going to apply these settings so that it automatically works out of the box for him. And then one of the things that we're gonna wanna add here is, let's see, we can add a platform. He can adjust the spacing, the idle delay, and the platform speed. One of the things now is just to be able to reverse it in real time. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can do that. So let's go ahead and look at modify property bools, custom inspector. So let's see here. Changing a property value in the inspector. We want to use a custom inspector. Let's see here. So here they're using, we don't want to necessarily have that team match stuff. Random script, Unity editor. Let's see, here's random script. So here's start temp. Hide an inspector, make sure the default inspector won't show these values. Oh, you know what? That's one way to do that too. Although we don't want them to be public, we do want them to be serialized. And then here's their editor script. How are they accessing that? So here they're saying script.startTemp equals a toggle. Yeah, I literally tried that and that did not work at all. So let's go ahead and just try it again. Maybe something different will happen. Definition of like insanity, right? So inside our script here, we have our moving platform and we have a field here called reversing. And we have a property, right, called reversing here. So what I would like to do here is let's set this value in moving platform editor. So under our debugging properties, let's go ahead and add that ability. So here we're going to say mp.reversing equals a GUI layout.toggle. All right, and here we can put in a value with parameters or a value with some string text. So here, let's go ahead and say, actually, let's look and see what that example was again. Start temp and then whatever it is. Oh, this is editor GUI layout.toggle. So editor GUI layout. All right, toggle, and then here we have our value followed by the parameter or text string. All right, so here let's go ahead and say reverse, and we're gonna pass in mp.reversing. So if we look at our moving platform here, when that compiles, you'll see here that we now have a box that does say reverse, but I can't check it, and it goes nuts when I do. It gives me that Stack Overflow error. So it just does not like that. Now I'm curious to know what happens if I run that in the actual game. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and add some waypoints here. So here we're going to add a waypoint. Okay, yeah, it does not like having that value there. And part of the reason for that, I think, is because it's just constantly grabbing it, and it's just not happy. Let's see here. Let's look that up. Stack Overflow exception when accessing Bool's custom inspector. Okay, get set causing Stack Overflow. Your public property should have a different name to your private variable, and it does. Right? Definitely does. If we look in our moving platform here, we have our platform speed. Hold on, we're looking for reversing. So here's reversing. We are returning. Oh, wow, my bad. Wow, that could have saved literally an hour and a half worth of headache from last night. Wow, that's the worst. Let's go ahead here and test that out. Hold on. We have to clear this. Our moving platform has no waypoints, so I do need to make it so that this gets fixed, so we'll go ahead and adjust that. Here, when we add waypoints, we're going to go ahead and space them out a bit. So let's make this like 2.5. Alrighty, let's go ahead and run it. We have our reverse method here. Okay, and once again, now our waypoints are getting set to 0, so something is just getting corrupted all over again. Very annoying. In order to fix it, I can remove this component, re-add it. And from here, we have our reverse method, which I can now check without problems, which is great. So here, platform speed was set to 1, platform spacing, we'll do 3, idle delay is going to be 1. Let's add some waypoints, and let's run it. All right, you can see here in the inspector, it's added a bunch of broken ones. So definitely a little finicky. We gotta make it so that that doesn't happen when I was using it. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so everything looks good here. And if we hit reverse, we should be able to tell it to come back. So if Al wants to test it out early, and there we go. Good deal. All right, so that pretty much wraps up everything here. One thing I do want to do is we want to avoid corruption here. So if I remove these, they're still in the list, but they're not. So we need to actually create something to handle this exception here. So you can see here there's a null reference exception. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. So here, waypoints I. And the way we do that is we simply just check to see if I is null. So this is for the draw gizmos. And when we add a waypoint and remove a waypoint, let me see here. So if waypoints.count, we're going to destroy waypoints, waypoint.count, whatever I. We also want to make sure that's not null. So the best way to do that here is if when we destroy immediately, we want to make sure that it's not null, and then we do need to clear out the list. So, and actually, you know, in the event Al were to screw something up, let's just create a function here that's just going to clear the list. All right, so we can just clear. So let's go ahead and do that. So inside of our moving platform behavior over here, what we can do is we can say reverse at the end here for debug properties, or at the, actually right here. After we add one of those, let's add a button here that says clear list. So here we're going to have if GUI layout.button, and what happens if you click that button? So if GUI layout button, and this is going to be clear waypoints list. All right, clear waypoint list. So if you click that button, what will happen? We're going to go ahead and call a function in here to actually remove those elements. So inside here, we're actually going to create a new function. We'll go ahead and put it with our other ones. So we're going to have public void clear waypoint list. And when we do that, we're actually just going to do this. We're going to gather all the objects of our children. So here we're going to say game object all. And actually, let's just grab all of the waypoint options for example. Let's do this. Game object all equals transform dot get components, or let's see, it's get children. Let's see, it's get components in children. In children, here we go. Game object at all, transform dot get components in children. We're gonna grab all of them. All right, so once we gather all of them, what we want to do is we actually want to destroy all of them except the platform. So here we're gonna say for each object. So for each object in all, we're gonna go ahead and say destroy immediate. We're gonna say obj, but we need to make sure that we don't include the first element. Equals transform.get components in children. We're not actually doing that. So all equals game object dot find all, or how do I gather all game objects? I could just do transform. Transform all equals transform dot get component in children. Okay, we have their transforms. They're stored in all. Dude, what's it not like? Oh, that's why it's an array. Okay, so here we have, in 1 second here. Oh yeah, inevitably. That's funny. Okay, so check this out. So here we are using, all right, so transform all equals transform get. We want to get all the components, and then we're going to loop through them and destroy them. We do want to make sure that we're ignoring the first one though. So here I'm basically going to check to see if object dot transform dot name, or actually I can just check name here. Dot name is equal to platform. Then what do we want to do? We want to simply continue, right? We just want to tell it to continue on. We don't want to destroy. And make sure that's correct. We have platform, yeah. All right, so in the event Al were to screw this up, we're going to give him a button to where he can fix everything. All right, so here, clear all the waypoints. And now we just need to call that function from our editor. So inside the editor here, if he were to click that button, he can then say mp.clear waypoint list. And also after doing that, we need to make sure that we actually clear the list. That's going to destroy the objects. We need to then say underscore waypoints dot clear. Okay. So if we look, there should be a button now. All right, here we go. So we can basically, what we can do is we can clear the list, clear waypoints, and you'll see here that waypoints are now 0, and there's nothing in here. And if we add a bunch of waypoints, and if Al were to somehow take 5, 6, and 7 and just delete those, you'll see here that it's still in the list, but it's going to cause errors. And you'll see here we have null references, right? We'll hide those in a second. So what Al can do to fix that is simply just clear the list. All right, so when we do that, it does clear it, but it's not actually destroying these objects. And that's because if we look here, it's grabbing all the children. And it's not ignoring, it looks like our iterator. It says can't destroy component. Oh, right, we have to destroy the objects, not the transforms. So object dot game object. So let's go ahead and test that out again. Oh, I don't want to run it, sorry. Yeah, we're gonna make it so there's no null reference errors. So in the event here that we have, so say Al were to delete these again. So you can see here his waypoints are all screwed up. He has 0 in his list, but he has these. We can now just hit clear list, and it looks like it actually destroyed everything, which is not good. So we definitely don't want that. So we do need to control it a bit. Let's see here. Let's add that back. So if we go into moving platform, let's add that back. All right, so clearing the list is grabbing, okay, and that's because it's actually grabbing this. So here we don't want to include moving platform. Or we don't want to include the parent. So let's do that too. We need to check. So if object.name equals that, or object.isParent, let's see, or object.parent, then we just want to continue. And that might fix that. Whoops. Yeah, I don't need to run this to have it work. We can do this in the editor. All right, so here we go. So let's add some waypoints. And if Al were to screw up, delete some of these, we have a moving platform. We're going to go ahead and remove some waypoints, clear the waypoint list. And it is still destroying all of it. Which is interesting. I don't know why that is. And we'll fix the on-draw gizmo errors in a second here. Where is that? So here's our clear waypoint list. Here's all the transform objects. If object.name equals platform or object.parent, well, then we're supposed to just continue. Otherwise do waypoints.clear. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and destroy all child objects. Here's the game times. This text is popular with text objects. I want to be able to get all the children. I'll destroy them when needed. I don't want to cache them and adding them in an array. I want to be able to yada yada. Let's see. Your code is too complex. I don't even know what it sends to, but maybe you should try this. All right. For each transform child, so for each child in that transform, GameObject.destroy child.GameObject. So that's just getting a holder there. Let's see here. For each child in transform, child destroy child.GameObject. Oh, here, this would work too. We can get each child individually and do that. So here we're on the moving platform. So we can actually do that. So transform all is populating a list and giving us the parent transform is included in that list. And actually, hold on real quickly. Let's also do a search for removes parent in Unity. Although I don't know why it's destroying our parent. Let's see. Clear children. All children equals new object transform.child count. This here, although that's not populating that array, I don't believe. Child count isn't, that's just creating an array. It's not actually adding them. Oh, here we go. All children equals child.GameObject inside the transform. And then you can destroy them individually. Okay, so maybe that's what we should do. So if we were to do it that way, here we're basically saying get components in children, or actually I just want to ignore the parent. So get component in children, ignore parent. There we go, get components without parent. You can do this. So is my ID the parent? What is get instance ID? Oh, that's the guy who's running the script. Interesting. So maybe we can do that actually. Hold on. Let's add that for each back here. So here, if object dot instance ID returns the instance of the ID of the object. Although, what is he comparing there? Okay, so he's not equal get instance ID. Is my ID the parent? So here he's checking to see if, let's see here. Oh, C#, hold on. So basically he's checking to see if the game object's ID is equal to this ID. If it is, then we're the parent. So here we can say if object dot get instance ID or dot instance ID, yeah, get instance ID equals this dot instance ID, then we're on the parent and we want to basically say continue. We don't want to do anything. We want to keep going, skip over. So we'll worry about the platforms second. Let's just see if that actually works. Because the goal here is we want to destroy everything but the parent object. All right, so let's see here. We'll go ahead and add our moving platform. We'll add some waypoints. All right, and then we should be able to now clear this list out, hopefully. And for whatever reason, it wants to still destroy everything. Stop it. All right, we may have to actually implement a function like this then. But let's see. Let me see here. Yeah, we should just start over. I know it's awful. It's being a big pain in the ass here. For each transform, okay, so for each child in transform, we're destroying the child transform.object. So this here isn't going to, this method will work perfectly from within the game. However, there's a problem with running it from within the editor. Here's a working version application.isEditor. Okay, is that like different than what I'm doing apparently? Parent objects. I should just be able to say transform. All right, let's try that for each. Because apparently maybe that works. Hang on. Let's get rid of that. And let's just do a for each. All right, so here we have for each transform or for each var in transform. And then what do I want to do? We want to basically destroy them, right? So here we're going to say destroy immediate child.gameObject. Is it really that simple? Let's say transform.parent, I guess. It's not letting me get anything. What did he use? Parent object.transform. Huh. Why does that work for him? Let's see. I don't know why that actually works for him and not us. Parent object.transform. That's this transform. So we should be able to just type transform. And then we can just say destroy immediate child.gameObject. Object does not contain a definition for gameObject. Weird. All right, transform child in there, and let's see if that destroys everything but the parent. So here's our moving platform. Okay. Let's go ahead and add some waypoints. Let's clear the list. All right, and that worked. So let's go ahead and take these guys out. Let's try that again. So here, add waypoints, clear list. So it's clearing the list, and it's only deleting a few of them, which is really weird. It left 1 and 3. So what is the reason for that? So here, if we go to moving platform, add some waypoints. Let's add 3. If I clear, it's leaving 1. So why would it be leaving 1 object in here? So for each transform child in transform, so let's go ahead and do it this way. Let's go ahead and say here int child count equals transform dot get child count. Let's try it that way. So the function that is get child count, and then here we'll do the for loop. So for int I equals 0, while I is less than child count, we'll do I++. And then here we'll go ahead and say destroy immediate. We're going to grab the child count. Destroy immediate. What did that guy do? Is less than children. So we need to create an array that's going to populate with children, which could be a problem. Let me see here. So let's go ahead and let's see. Let's get all children of an object. All right, so here we have transforms, get components and children. If TS is null, yada yada. For each transform t not equals on t dot game object not equal null. That's adding each game object. But I have recently proven this is unreliable from the editor. I've loaded in front color, yada. To get parent, transform dot parent. If child not equals transform 0, child is your child. Okay, so that's how we can actually check if it's not the parent right here. So we're going to do something like that. Let's go ahead and try that. Thanks for the subscribe, Daniel. Let's see. So this is really what I want. I just want this. Why can't we do this? Like that alone should work. I really don't need a lot of this stuff. So for each transform child and transform, if it's not transform 0, which is our parent, I guess. If child is not equal to, let me see here. If child is not equal to child.parent, maybe, or I don't know. If child is not equal to, might have to do this in a for loop somehow. All right, let's try this again here. Let's do game object array all is going to equal get components and children. We're going to grab their transforms. All right, this game object array is going to be transform array. All right, and then here we have our for each loop. So for each child in all, we basically just want to check here. And actually, let's do a for loop for this. So for int I equals 0, while I is less than all dot length, I++. here we have, let's see here, we might be able to do, so here we can check for if basically all sub I. So if the current object that we're on here, dot, so that's a transform. So if that equals the parent, so if that equals basically sub 0, so we're going to say all sub 0, that's the parent. And we want to skip. So we're going to say continue. Else, we're going to say, or here, we want to do nothing. Let's just do it like this. Do nothing. And actually, can we use a continue statement in a for loop? I actually don't know. I know you can use in a for each. Continue skips the statement after the continue statement and continues looping. Okay, yeah, so termination of the statement to which it applies. Switch for, do, or while. Continue statement is used to end the current loop. Iteration and return control to the loop statement. Okay, cool. So we can do that. So here, so if all equals that, this is our parent, we just want to say continue. Else we're going to go ahead and just follow through with destroying them. Destroy immediate, and we want to say all sub I, and then game object. All right, and then we also need to clear the list. So we do that. All right, maybe let's go ahead and clear that list first as well. Okay, get components in children. Let's try that. I don't know what that error is. I don't know. Describe what you're trying to do. It probably means that like your script name and your file name aren't the same. All right, so here is our moving platform. Let's delete this one. Here we go. So inside of that, we have nothing. We had waypoints, and we can clear the list. And it cleared them, but it's not actually, it's still displaying these guys. Why? So here we have add waypoints. So it knows it has, so let's go ahead and get the actual count. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the length should be 4. So here we're going to debug.log, clearing waypoints. All right, and let's see how many waypoints it has to clear. So we're going to say all.length. Something is not working properly. All right, so let's see here. We have, let's see, we have that set up there. It probably means that you need to recreate the class. Just delete the script and probably recreate it again. Let's see here. So if we clear waypoints, it says clearing waypoints 5. And okay, that time it actually worked. Look at that. So here I had 4 waypoints. So here we have 1. So basically this should return 6, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the parent, which is 6. If I hit clear, it says 6. And they're all gone. So it seems to be working now. Let's go ahead and add some waypoints. Let's have Al remove some of these, screw it up. He needs to start over. Clear waypoint. All right, sweet. It's working. That's exactly what we want. Good. I don't know why that was so difficult. Ridiculous. Okay, sweet. So that is set in stone. The next thing we need to do here is make it so that when Al does this, if he were to accidentally remove 2 of these, it's not going to give him these errors here, missing reference exceptions. All right, so let's go ahead here and just update onDraw Gizmos. And basically, we just don't want to draw if it's null. So here, if current, we just want to check to see if the current waypoint is null. So here we're going to say if waypoints I basically equals null, then we want to just say continue. Right, we just want to be done with it. And we'll also, and that should be good. We also want to go ahead and do that same check for next waypoint. So here, or if underscore waypoints sub I plus 1 equals null, then we just want to continue. And that should fix a lot of those red errors. Danila asked, is your own game? This is what we're extending. So this is the game you actually create in the Ultimate Guide to 2D Mobile Game Development. You can check out the description for a link to the course. So we're actually just modifying the game and making it, we're extending it. So the knowledge gained in that course will allow you to extend it. Let's see here. All right, so here we go. Moving platforms. We can go ahead and clear that list. That works. Let's add some. Make sure again, just clear. Okay, good deal. All right, so we also want to make sure that we're not removing the actual platform element next, so we'll fix that. But let's go ahead and remove these guys. And let's see if there's any errors. So right now we're getting an argument out of range exception. And I think that came from what we just did. 217, is that right? Yeah, 217, okay. So let's go ahead and do this. If Al were to delete something like that, basically it breaks everything, right? Our waypoints list is off and it uses this value or this information. Let me see here. When it iterates through the waypoints list, we need to make sure that that waypoint is not null. So really that should have actually worked here. This here, current and next. Let's see here. So we just want to catch that. Let's see here. I want to catch that exception. So I think we're going to use a try catch for this. So in programming, there are things called try catch, and these allow you to basically try methods and catch their exceptions. So let's look at this. So we're going to do a try catch. Okay. So here, for all of this stuff, we should be able to do inside here a try catch block. So we're going to try to update these, and then we'll catch the exception. Put it in here. And we're going to just log an error for Al that says, Al, you deleted, Al, you need to clear your list. And we're going to use system.exception. We're using system. All right, so here we can add this here. All right, and if it catches any errors, it should default to this. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Let's test it out. Let's go ahead and remove these waypoints. Although if I clear list, it should automatically do that. Sweet. All right, so here's our waypoints. If we clear the list, everything works. Let's go ahead and remove some of these. And here we go. So you can see here that there is some warnings that says, Al, you need to clear the list. So we're gonna go ahead and keep it like that. I'm happy with that. And if we stack it, it should be okay. So if we collapse these, then you see it like that. Al, you need to clear the list. All right, that means he deleted these and he shouldn't have. So we can clear it. So if he wants to remove a waypoint, he needs to do so like this. Maybe later we can also support functionality where if he does remove one of these, then it removes it from we could make it to where it removes it and reconnects them, but for the most part, we're going to assume that we're not going to let him do that. He needs to create it properly. All right, we can clear and add lists. Cool. I think that is honestly everything we need here for this. One thing here is when we clear the list, we don't want to destroy the platform. So let's go ahead here and let's add that platform back in. All right, so if we add a platform here, we need an empty object to act as our platform. So here we create a 2D sprite. This is our platform sprite. All right, we don't want to remove this guy. And then, or here, we're going to create an object, an empty object called platform. And we want to make sure we're not destroying this. Okay, so platform sprite goes in there. And then our parent gets, our game object is going to get parented to this. So here's the platform. We have our platform sprite. And Al can assign whatever he wants to this. And from there, you can set the sprite to like 5. Set that to 50. All right, and then let's go ahead here and just save this up. So set that to like 10. All right, and so now for the platform here, we need to add back our script. So platform detection with our box collider 2Ds. All right, this is the last time we're gonna have to do this. All right, and we'll map the collider to it. So this is our top one, so we'll leave some leeway for the trigger detection. Extend it out. Okay, is trigger set, and then for this guy, let's map this to the actual platform. So that's so we don't move through it. Okay, save. Ground layer is set. On this guy, we have our platform sprites, our platform detection, and move player. So what we can do now is we can apply these changes so that when Al creates one, it's automatically like this. And then the next thing we need to do here is make it so that we don't destroy this platform object. So here, inside of our script, we're checking if it's the parent. So if it's the parent, or if the current all sub I, we can check the name of it really, equals platform. And if that's the case, we want to ignore it. All right, and equals name. Okay, let's save this. And we can test it out. So I am going to apply these settings, so in case it does delete it, we can get it back. So let's apply. All right, let's add some waypoints. Let's go ahead and delete some of these. Now it needs to restart, so we're going to clear waypoint list. And there we go. So the platform is going to stay, but it deleted the child of the platform. So we definitely don't want that. So we do want to go ahead and make sure that it doesn't delete the child elements. So inside here, what we want to do is, let's see, where is our platform here? We're going to add that back in. So it removed the sprite element, and we definitely don't want that. So to fix this, what we can do is we can actually do like a contains. So here, if I wonder if we can do like a dot contains or name. Basically, I want to remove all. I want to check if the name contains. Let's see here. If name dot, I thought there was something. Okay, yeah, name dot contains. Here we go. So if name contains platform in it, then we will skip over it. Let's do that. Hey, what's up, Hagito? All right, so let's go ahead here and check this out. Yeah, AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. So if you guys want to, if you have any questions or anything like that about anything game dev related, feel free to ask. Alrighty. So what we can do now is that's called Platform Sprite. And what we can do here is, yeah, we can check that. This should work. All right, so let's go ahead and test it out. Here is our moving platform. We're going to go ahead and say add waypoints. We can clear the list, and everything's good. All right, so add waypoints. Let's go ahead and remove these. And we can go ahead and clear the list, and everything is good. So in the event he were to delete this object here, the platform, he would then have to just create the new prefab. So there's nothing you can do about that. But other than that, this is a pretty neat system, and it works really well. So Al can now create any dynamic form of platform that he wants. So let's go ahead and just test this out and run it. So let's go ahead and have 3 waypoints. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and position number 3 there, and let's position let's go ahead and position number 3 down. And number 1 is gonna go that way. All right, and if we check this out, we can hop on it and move with it. It looks like something got corrupted on it. 1 second. So if we clear the waypoint list, we add 3. Looks like we're getting that weird issue again where things get corrupted. Let's see. Let's move that. When we run, it seems to be getting zeroed out for some reason. That's such an annoying issue. So the easiest way to fix that is I think I can just reset this script and it seems to fix it. Don't know why. Let's see, move that there. Yeah, that's really interesting why that happens. So what I have to do here, I can clear the waypoint list. We can remove this component. I can add it back and it will work. Doesn't make much sense. So if we add 3 or 4 again, let's go ahead and space them out. So we'll have 0 come down here, 2 will be there, and 3 will go here. Alrighty, so there's our platform. Go ahead and step on it. Oh, okay, well we can't go below the map, so that actually doesn't work. But our system is done, completed. So Al can then easily just add these prefabs to the scene and make custom platforms. Alrighty, let's see, I'm gonna remove that now. That is done. And let's go ahead and check out some of the new stuff that Al created for what we're going to be working on next today. So Al updated all the menu systems, and they're really awesome. So let's go ahead and check those out. So inside the main menu here, we'll go ahead and save that scene. Okay, and let's go ahead and adjust this aspect ratio. It needs to be 16:9. Hang on. Weird, my 16:9 editor got removed. Interesting. All right, so we're gonna do 16:9. Okay, there we go. All right, so here is the new menu that we're creating. So let's go ahead here and check this out. All right, so here we go. So Dungeon Escape, now when you start the game, it's gonna go ahead and take you to our level manager, which is gonna be our level system here. So you're gonna be able to actually click one of these guys, and we need to code all this functionality. You're gonna be able to click one of those, And then on the map, you're also going to be able to, on the mobile device, you're going to be able to scroll to the left. So it's going to look like this as you scroll to be able to see more of the map. All right, so then once you select a object, what we need to do is we need to, when you select an object, it's based on which one you select, a scroll is going to pop up and it's going to be level 1 description, and you'll be able to hit start. And that's actually going to what's going to start the game. So we have a whole level manager system that we're going to need to create here. And then we're also going to be adding level management as extended content to the Ultimate Guide to 2D Mobile Game Development with Unity. So if you're interested in learning how to make a course like this or a game like this, this is the game that we create in the course. So go check it out in the description. And then you can go back to the main menu and we can start as usual. So that's what we're going to be working on later today. So currently our stream has been going on for a while, so we might take a break and come back to it because I got to talk to Al about some of the design decisions. And then also, if we look at our Trello, if we keep up with our Trello, let's just go check that out. So Al, I believe, made cards that have functionality for the menu system. All right, so let's go ahead here and look at that. So here we go. So add map feature where if player presses on a level. So he created cards for how they should work. All right, so that is exactly what we need. So we'll go ahead and go through those later and check it out together. Let's see here. Let me see here. So one of the things, let me see. Yeah, so one of the things that we're going to have to do for that is we need a level manager system, and we have to go through the scrolls. We need to know which one you click on to associate it with the correct scroll. So, and I don't know how many scrolls he created, but we do have, we have a level stage guy, and then these are the different levels. And we're going to create an animation as well in the map that's going to have like a red line move your character piece to each level. So, and Al, let me know if I'm incorrect about that, but I think this character piece moves, or we're going to have just a red line that moves to each level. So it's going to be pretty cool. So, let's see here. What is next on this? What else do we have? So let me go and commit this. So here we have finished moving platform tool. Yeah, so I have to figure all that out. All right, cool. So that platform tool is done. So yeah, we'll figure out some like animations perhaps that we create. All right, cool. So I'm going to take a lunch break here. I'm going to discuss with Al kind of what we want to do next for development. I think we're going to go ahead and create that level manager and menu system. And then I just got some other things we got to do today. So thanks for watching, guys. And we'll be back later. You can check out the social feeds for Defiant Lobster to know when we go live. And then also, if you're in the course, join the Discord community, and I'll always post when we're live. So I'll see you guys later. Hi, my name is Jonathan Weinberger, and I've been developing games with C# and Unity for the last 6 years. I've helped thousands of developers learn to code and improve their skill sets. I currently teach game development on Udemy, an online marketplace for courses. Udemy has over 17 million students learning everything from game development to piano or cooking. Enjoy courses on any device and at your own pace with lifetime access. My course, The Ultimate Guide to Game Development with Unity, is designed to teach you the fundamentals of C# programming in Unity. We'll cover everything from receiving user inputs to creating destructible objects. By the end of this course, you'll make 2 high-quality games you can share with the world. This course is for anyone who wants to learn game development or refine their technique. Whether you're interested in game development as a hobby or you want to make games professionally, this course will grow your programming skill set and help you go on to make your own games and applications. Click on the link in the bottom left of the video player to access a special discount for this course. I look forward to teaching you more about game development with Unity and C# on Udemy.